Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Sony's E3 conference. Make sure you grab your PlayStations and let's get started. That's right folks, one of the big conferences that we were waiting for to happen actually happened today, and that was with Sony following up from Ubisoft's wonderful conference. Sony had the ball, Sony had the torch, and all eyes were on them after Ubisoft, after Microsoft, after Bethesda, after Devolver Digital, after EA. It was Sony's turn, and all the world was ready to see. Now, before I get started on their actual conference, Sony had also pre-show announcements that led up to the conference. Oh, and by the way, what I'm playing in this clip while I'm reviewing Sony's conference is Mother Russia Bleeds. It is a beat 'em up in the eyes of like Streets of Rage. For those who missed that kind of game, this is what you're gonna get, close to Streets of Rage. So if you're looking for a beat 'em up that takes you back to that old school vibe, this is it. Mother Russia Bleeds is a little bit more violent than Streets of Rage, but it's also just as reminiscent, just as dope, and just as awesome. So if you have a PS4 and I believe a PC, go check this out. This is one title you definitely do not want to miss out on. But yes, going back to the Sony conference, they had a pre-show happen where they also had announcements happen before the actual announcements began to happen. So what was announced at the pre-show was you had Matterfall get a release date of August, you had a new IP called Hidden Agenda, you had Gran Turismo Sport get an announcement for fall 2017, you had a couple of VR titles to be shown that's going to release later down the line. And then you had even more titles. I think you had one more title, not even more. One more title called Everybody's Golf that's going to be coming out soon as well. Oh, not just Everybody's Golf, and Undertale. Undertale is coming to PS4 for those who are interested. That was one of my favorite announcements from the pre-show. Yeah, Undertale get announced alongside Everybody's Golf, and that honestly took the pre-show from me. I didn't need to hear about anything else. But you had Matterfall, VR titles, Hidden Agenda, which looked great. I think it's by Supermassive, or it might be by Quantic Dream. I'm not too sure what's going on. I have to look that up specifically, but I know that they have a new IP called Hidden Agenda as well. So yes, you had the pre-show announcement get shown, and then now to the actual conference itself. Sony's conference usually follows up with opening with a orchestra. They did it last year, so now I'm guessing that the orchestra coming back is probably going to be a repeated thing for them. But yes, they open with an orchestra, and very beautiful sitars and violins and drums and bongos, all leading up to Uncharted Lost Legacy. That personally, I don't know, if I wanted to open up with the orchestra for something, I probably would have did it for one of the known titles, one of the known bombshells that was coming out of the Lost Legacy. But yes, they open up for Uncharted Lost Legacy. We got a new trailer just showing off some more of what to expect, and then following up from that, we got a trailer for a new Horizon DLC that's coming in the fall as well. It looks beautiful, look great. I'm not particularly sure what it's all about, but I know that DLC definitely did look good though. Then following that, Sean Layden came on stage. He did his talk for 90 seconds, and then after that he dropped a bombshell when the announcement was that Monster Hunter is finally coming to different consoles. Now, I heard it was supposed to be multi-plat. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if it's PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Don't quote me on that. If I find out after, I'll add in the description box below if I find out after. But I did see Monster Hunter. Game looks great. I wasn't expecting it to be on the Sony stage, but I was definitely impressed with what I seen. I'm glad to see that Monster Hunter is getting some chance to breathe on different consoles. Following up after that was Days Gone, which that game definitely does look amazing. It looks great. The graphics look fantastic. They've done some cleanup after the last Days Gone segment that we had. The last Days Gone segment was him shooting at a horde of zombies where it was kind of rough looking and the frame rate was still kind of rough. But now in this segment particularly, the graphics were improved, the environments look greater, the combat was looking better, and then we got to see more of the open world aspects around it, and we got to see more of the zombies in action. The game definitely has a Last of Us vibe. It's definitely story driven, focus heavy, and just looks like if The Last of Us wasn't here, this would be the game to step up and try to take its place. Days Gone looks great. They have a lot of zombies on the map. They have so much going on. It's both and graphically intense and beautiful, and it does seem to have a steady frame rate. and just overall the build does look great to see. However, there wasn't a actual date or window of release for Days Gone. They just showed gameplay and didn't really say anything, so it might be slated for this year, might be next year, I don't really know. Then after Days Gone, they showed a bunch of VR titles like Final Fantasy 15 Fishing, Skyrim VR from Bethesda, also which is confirmed to come from the VR segment for Bethesda is also Doom VR for the PlayStation VR. They also showed Super Hot VR, and that was during the pre-announcement, so that actually was very impressive too. They showed this one cool looking game called Moss, where it's like Studio Ghibli inspired. You play as a mouse fighting roaches and bugs and other animals trying to kill you. It has a cool little unique idea behind it. And they showed some more VR titles I can't really put my finger on, but I know they have some cool looking ones. They had ones that made me go eh. Oh, they showed Bravo Team, which is made by Supermassive by the Until Dawn makers. Then they showed this game called The Inpatient, which is another VR title made by Supermassive Games, where the Inpatient is a game where I think it's a VR horror game that follows in the same vein as Rush of Blood, but more so Outlast type. So not really Rush of Blood, but it's more Outlast inspired, more psychological horror and trying to mess with you. And the Bravo Team is more of a FPS shooter for the VR, which is cool. No knock to it. And there is something for everybody with the VR titles. And after that, they showed Detroit. Now, this is my personal game that I've been waiting to see for this Sony E3 for a while now. Detroit looks wonderful. They have actors in the game. They have Jesse Williams of Grey's Anatomy fame, and they have the girl from The Following in the later seasons. I can't remember her name, so if anybody's watching this, or for whoever watches this later on, can you guys tell me her name so I know? You have the girl from The Following, you have Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy, and then you have more people going around to complete the circle of the game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Detroit seems to have this web of choices that you can pick from. You can be violent, you can be anti-violent. Jesse Williams seems to be the antagonist who wants to go against the machine. The girl from The Following seems to be the chick who wants to follow the rules. And then you have the cop from the first trailer that we seen last year in this new trailer. The game looks good, the gameplay looks amazing. Quantic Dream is really doing their thing with this game, and Detroit is impressing me every step of the way. That was one of my games to see this E3, yet again still no release date. I believe it's probably going to be 2018, which I'm a little disappointed for, because I want to see this game drop this year. But as long as they can get this game to run perfectly, be great, do whatever it needs to do, I'm here to see it grow. And then after Detroit was God of War. Now, let me be clear and open and honest about this. I've never been a God of War fan. I've never gone out my way personally to play God of War games, but honestly, this God of War has impressed me. This God of War has done something to me to make me want to go out and buy God of War. Now, I've had God of War games on my Vita. I bought God of War 3 on the PlayStation 4. But this one in particular, the combat looks better. The graphics are amazing. It feels more story driven. The last one just kind of felt meh to me, especially God of War 1 and God of War 2. Now, I'm not gonna knock it. I've given these games a try. I didn't particularly go for the series at first myself, but God of War definitely does seem like one of those games I definitely need to play. It seems to have gotten combat inspired from Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. The combat has definitely gotten better. I like that Kratos is in this Nordic mythology type setting, which is cool because I like the Norse mythology more so rather than the Greek and the Roman. I like Greek and Roman mythology, but Norse just does something for me. I like that Kratos has this axe that comes back to him like the Mjolnir. I like that he's trying to teach and tutor this little kid on how to get his life right and do better. It looks dope. I like how they're just capturing this more fatherly feel for Kratos instead of just making him into a mindless killing machine. Which he still is a killing machine, but it seems like they're going for more of a detailed story rather than just making Kratos kill. Then they showed a bombshell Well, a surprise bombshell remaster with Shadow of the Colossus remastered. Now, I personally was not expecting this. I didn't think this was gonna come. I heard rumors, I heard people talk about it, but I myself, I've never played Shadow of the Colossus. I played Eco with my brother, and that's mainly all I've played. We didn't get a chance to play Shadow of the Colossus. I played Eco with my bro. Still haven't touched The Last Guardian, and I feel like now I get the chance to play it and see what all the hype's about. Honestly though, Shadow of the Colossus was one title I was not expecting they like get remastered, get made up and done up again. Blue Point Games is doing it, so you know they're going to be taking care of the remaster. And one thing I've noticed about Shadow of the Colossus remaster from the gameplay trailer and aspects, it does seem to have that Last Guardian engine for one look at. The art style is a little different, but it does seem to have that shading, that graphics, that impressive feel to it, where I think they are using that Last Guardian engine for Shadow of the Colossus remastered. And so that definitely caught my eye as I was paying attention to the trailer. So I'll be picking it up. That's the day one. I'm definitely interested in it. I've never played the first Shadow. I've never played the original Shadow of the Colossus, and so with that, I'm just ready to see how the game really is. Now, the last game they showed, and boy was I waiting for this one myself. They showed Spider-Man from Insomniac, and honestly, this was the best looking game from Insomniac, from Sony, whatever the case may be. Spider-Man looked great. The graphics are amazing. It's seamless transitions from cutscene, game, cutscene, building, fight, plane, or helicopter, cutscene. It's just easy transitions to where you think you're still watching the cutscene, but it's actually the game's graphics. But Spider-Man looked amazing, had some amazing moments. I think they captured the essence of Spider-Man. And honestly, Insomniac made it seem like it's a movie, but it's a game. It looks great. It looks like it's gonna play great. It has the Arkham style fighting system, which I'm not disappointed by. Everybody's basically doing the Arkham thing now, so you really can't like complain and get mad about it. But Spider-Man definitely is amazing. I'm impressed by it. That actually put a big smile on my face as I'm a Spider-Man fan, a huge one. And honestly, I just cannot wait for that game. Insomniac did a damn good job. Definitely hit the hammer on the nail for me. Or hit the nail on the head for me with Spider-Man, and I was definitely impressed. Now, that's all from that conference. So my likes from this conference was God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone. They all look great. All have some very great gameplay. Trailers definitely looks great, all just beautiful. I also like the pre-announcement they had. Matterfall, Undertale was one of my most least expected announcements, but that definitely did make it up for me. And it wasn't that much talking. Sean Layden said he's gonna come on stage and do what he had to do and get off and let us enjoy the games, which was true. And honestly, there wasn't that much talking. There wasn't that much in between. But so I give them props on that. But I do have some dislikes for this as well. The Orchestra was for DLC content, which it shouldn't have been. The Orchestra should have been for something else. The Orchestra should have been for something that was coming, that was also a bigger priority than Lost Legacy, because we already knew about it. We already expected what was to come. We already expected what was going to be here. No real release dates was announced, and this goes for both Xbox and Sony. They all have 2018 elements or 2018 windows, and just really that's it. And one of my major gripes is that you announce these titles in a pre-show and make your show shorter than what it originally should be, and you kind of like rush through your show because you announce things that should have been saved for the main lineup, and you should have had some these IPs and surprise announcements just hit your regular show. So yes, that's it for Sony's conference. If I have to give it an overall grade, it's gonna sit right where I sit Microsoft set, and that's a B. Sony gets a B. Sony definitely gets a B for me. Great conference. I have some gripes with it, but overall we've seen some games, some dope games, and some mind-blowing stuff. I thank you guys for listening to my thoughts about the Sony conference. I have Sony Bethesda, Microsoft, Ubisoft, all uploading. So I'll be putting them in the description box below. Thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, until the next video, guys, we'll tune in, turn up, and throw down. I'm out.